What up, dudes? It's Gaz, and welcome back to the Warframe video. So, today we're talking about the Vasto Prime Incarnon. This thing is so good, especially against high priority targets. Now, I'm not going to call this thing AoE at all, but if you're trying to find a Incarnon pistol for taking out acolytes, demolysts, and thrax and all that stuff, I'd say you got a really good option right here, and doesn't even require a Riven for really, really big damage. We're going over the Vasto Prime Incarnon today. I'll be showing you how it works, all the types of builds I've been using, and also going to give some Riven advice. I have 4 different Rivens for this thing. It has really high Riven stats, so if you want to use it, I would recommend a Riven, but it doesn't need a Riven. Also, check out the live stream, will be live later tonight with some new Destiny 2 Season of the Deep. Gonna go underwater. Alright, so let's show how this thing works and all that. I do have a build on it currently. We'll go over all the Evo options right after I showcase how this works. But don't expect AoE, like I said earlier. Don't expect AoE. So the Vasto Prime, this is just singular Vasto, not Ac Vasto. So it has 6 bullets in the magazine. It's got high slash weighting and high hybrid stats. So you can have a status chance and a crit chance build at the same time, and they're going to both be pretty good. As we get headshots, we stack up our Incarnon meter. As you can see, just get headshots as normal. When we activate Incarnon mode, it's not AoE. It's a fan the hammer, 6 bullet shot. So we have 18 bullets. It fires 6 bullets per trigger pull, and you cannot aim down sights or zoom while doing this. So basically just run around. If you have this ready, you can swap to it. You can swap to your other weapon, then swap back. That's actually one of the Incarnon upgrades, is called Death Trap Trigger. It involves swapping between weapons a lot to get some massive, massive bonuses. Just to show how this works, when I swap back and forth, I get increased crit chance to crit damage, and those guys are all dead. Of course, you can kill them in one shot with the normal bullet. Red crits with no Riven with this build. But, you know, like I said, it has such high Riven dispo, might as well get some Rivens if you have the plat. And there's what you can kind of expect on body shots. I'm running Deadhead right now, so you want to go for headshots. But yeah, this thing's pretty versatile. You can go Merciless, you can go Deadhead. It just depends what kind of setup you have. Now we're going to go over the Incarnon options, and we'll also show the build. Now this is the no Riven build. Like I said, you cannot zoom in the Incarnon mode, but you have so much crit chance anyway. You can make Galvanized Crosshairs Lethal Torrent quite easily. And there's also other options too. This is going to be viral. If you're trying to focus on acolytes with not being armor stripped, just put corrosive on there. Okay, and honestly, don't put the second D polarity on here either, because this D polarity was from my other Riven. Like I said, I have 4 Rivens. They have different polarities. I'm lame like that. So put a dash polarity here. Actually, there's a dash polarity right here. I take it back. So you can put corrosive on here, and then put the 60/60 corrosive mod in the D polarity slot. Like I said, I would not recommend formatting for it, but you can technically fit it on there. There you go, corrosive. Going to be better against armored targets, but for big damage, you should armor strip them anyway. All right, so let's go over the options on what you can go for here, and honestly, this thing has some pretty good upgrades, so let's go over these. All right, so the Vasto Incarnon. You can do it in the Vasto Normal or the Vasto Prime. Didn't seem like the Vasto Normal was really the call here. The Vasto Prime has very good stats and very high Rivens. All right, starting off with Tier 2, we've got the one I'm showing you right now, Death Trap Trigger. Increases your base damage by plus 24, and when you equip your secondary from your primary, so like go from your miter to your Vasto, you get increased crit chance by plus 30% at base, and also increases crit damage by 0.8 at base for 3 seconds. Only 3 seconds. That's why you're meant to switch back and forth. So switch to your Vasto, blast the demolyst away, switch back. It works very well with a Cedo Glaive condition overload proccing situation. People are trying to say this works all the time. I don't think so, man. You can definitely notice the red crits when you swap back and forth with Death Trap Trigger. It works all the time in the arsenal screen, but not in mission. Lone Gun will increase your base damage by plus 24, and also give you another 40 base damage if you have no primary equipped, also giving you increased magazine by plus 14. The magazine doesn't really matter, especially with some of the later Evos, so I would not go for this one. And you're getting such a massive crit buff with Death Trap Trigger anyway. I'm not going to go for this, although base damage is nice. So yeah, both options on Tier 2 are good. That's quite nice to see. I'm not going to really unequip my primary, but hey, at least they tried. Moving on to Tier 3, these are going to be utility stats here. The one I've gone for is minus 50% recoil. You could really, all 3 of these options are good. The other choices are plus 6 magazine, giving you 12 magazine, 50 recoil, or plus 20% reload while holstered per second. I didn't try this one out. I've had some build ideas in the past using Synth Charge, the one where you swap back to the pistol that has one bullet in the magazine for a big shot. It just doesn't seem necessary. This thing does so much damage already. On the final evolutions, we've got Commodore's Fortune giving increased base crit chance by plus 18. That's how you get really high crit numbers on this, jamming that one. We've also got Survivor's Edge giving 10% crit chance and 10% status chance. And that will be good for, getting your slash procs and all that. And then the final evolution is going to be an interesting one for sure. I don't think any other Incarnon has this, called Reaper's Plenty. On headshot, plus 100% ammo efficiency for 2 seconds. What that means is as long as you're getting headshots with Reaper's Plenty active, you are not expending ammo, so you can infinitely get headshots. Now, this will only work on the primary mode, not the Incarnon mode. But if you go Reaper's Plenty, you're going to be getting pretty much infinite ammo and never have to reload as long as you're only hitting headshots. I guess if you run out of enemies, you'll have to reload. But yeah, the reload speed's not even that long. Only 1 second with Deadhead. So this corrosive build will show the same thing on these guys. And I'll throw on some armor strip and we'll remove their armor. And then I'll show you the steel path and all that. So yeah, not exactly a super exciting weapon, but a powerful weapon for sure. So as you can see, I was talking about in the arsenal screen, the Cedo Glaive. So you could just use your Cedo as a CO procer, then switch to your Vasto. It's going to be a good synergy right there of, getting your CO procs out with your primary, and then getting that death trap trigger when you swap back for 3 seconds. Cedo is going to be one of your best options for this, as it can give you so many procs. Very, very nice. So yeah, that's a versatile build. The Cedo build, I don't even know if it was the right Cedo build, honestly. What do we have on here? Okay, we had viral heat, and remember the Cedo also has impact, puncture, and it has heat, toxin, electric, and cold. So you have lots and lots of procs on this thing, and it does procs everywhere, so quite nice. All right, so let's get some Steel Path gameplay. This thing is really, really good at bullying acolytes, especially with a corrosive build. But you might notice it has no punch through. So if you are trying to run this as like your main DPS source, which I wouldn't really recommend, you're going to want something more like this. Now, this build is very similar to what we were already running. It's not fully leveled up, but as you will see, this is a Riven right here with punch through. Pistol weapons and Warframe secondaries do not have many options for the punch through stat. As you can see right here, we have literally only the Seeker mod in the entire game for pistols. There's no other options. If you want to be shooting through multiple enemies and getting multiple kills per shot without actually hitting multiple different enemies in spread, you need to get punch through somewhere. So you can either try to fit corrosive on here, maybe take off lethal torrent and then put the mod on there somehow, or you can get a Riven with punch through. So this one's got toxin, punch through, and multi-shot. This is great. If it had a negative, it would be even better. But yeah, punch through is going to be a hard stat to get, which is why I'd recommend just using this as a single target most of the time. Use your other weapon as your main DPS source, and then swap to this as a last fallback strategy, because it's very good at killing high level stuff. It's just not very good at killing big groups of enemies, as you'll see here. So we're in Disruption right now, Steel Path. I'm running the same kind of build. Actually, I'm running one of my Rivens here. So this is with a Riven. It's with a punch through, multi-shot, crit chance Riven. So it's also got minus fire rate too. Surprisingly, minus fire rate did not seem like that big of a deal here. And I'm sorry if it's a little bit laggy. I have to get something fixed with my computer. So armor strip that demolyst on level 134 should be an easy one-shot in the Steel Path. So yeah, you can expect that. Now I am using armor strip, of course. But you can technically do it without armor strip too. I think I do a later enemy in this one without armor strip, and it takes 2 shots. By the way, this thing does so much damage, you don't even need to use the Incarnon mode to kill these demos. They'll die in 1 bullet to the non-Incarnon mode shot with armor strip. So, quite nice. Cedo, Vasto is going to be a great loadout. You can also even throw on a good melee too, I guess Praetos or something for mobility. Yeah, going to be kind of nice. Or not even kind of, very nice. So let's get some Riven advice here, as I've been rolling lots of Vasto Rivens and buying Vasto Rivens just because I've wanted to get the Riven that feels like the right one for me. So as far as, punch through, we already talked about punch through. There's the one shot with the non-Incarnon, by the way. This thing gets massive crit chance and crit damage buffs when you use Death Trap Trigger. But why not just jam even more crit is how I look at it. So as far as things that are going to be good on these Rivens, you want to be able to save mod space on your build. You can do a only impact puncture slash build with no elemental mods, but honestly, you're losing a really big chunk of damage, and yeah, you'll get more consistent slash procs, But we just want to kill these guys in one shot. To be honest, this is not really like a slash proc focused weapon. It can get big, disgusting slash procs, like multiple million, but you can just also outright kill them with base damage, so that's what I'd prefer to do here. So as far as the stats for Rivens I'd recommend to you on this thing, if you want to do multi-target, punch through is going to be your #1 stat, because you have no other way of modding for it. So punch through, potential #1 stat, but multi-shot's also good to get your Incarnon charged up faster. And there's no armor strip on the Acolyte right there with the viral build just getting nuked down. So yeah, multi-shot, punch through, Toxin. Most of the combined elements you're going to run this thing are going to be Toxin. Or rather going to be like viral or corrosive. I have 2 Rivens with Toxin on them. Now you could even, if you have a very particular build in mind, you could go even further and entirely min-max into it. Which I'll show you with one of my Rivens. Which I rolled in a previous Riven rolling video. You can go for plus viral on the mod itself. I'll quickly show that while we're in this gameplay. So, as you can see right here, this is my Toxin punch through one. I've also got this Riven too. Plus Toxin, plus cold, and plus crit damage with plus recoil. This lets me get my entire viral stat right here. I can technically even go viral heat if I felt like it, but I'll probably throw something else on here in the future. This could be very good for a single target build. It lets you free up mod space. I could run Lethal Torrent here. I couldn't run that before if I didn't have this because I'd have to run a cold mod in like this spot and a Toxin mod in this spot. I literally get two free extra mod spaces for this with a little bit of extra crit damage jammed on top as well. So that's something you could run. But yeah, honestly, just going big crit, multi-shot, and like punch through is going to be a very powerful setup. Now, I say that, but I also have a Riven with multi-shot and crit damage with minus zoom, and it doesn't even feel slottable because I guess I could just replace like my crit damage mod, but I don't know, I want to be jamming as much crit damage as possible, and like I said, that Riven doesn't have any Toxin on it, doesn't have any punch through. What is the multi-shot crit damage Riven doing for me besides just giving me bigger damage numbers? I mean, for some people, bigger damage numbers is enough, but I'm just saying, for the most efficient Riven here, you do want Toxin, you do want punch through, you want something to go alongside your crit stats and your multi-shot, because it needs viral. Like, these enemies are armor stripped. The viral damage multiplier is massive. It gives you a ton of extra damage. I'd say you're going to want Toxin for sure. But yeah, the crit one's good too. I might just eventually sell it. It's not for me. The main Riven I'm using now is the one I bought last night, with multi-shot, punch through, crit chance, and unfortunately minus fire rate, but it feels fine if I do run Lethal Torrent. I have like 400 and something % multi-shot at least, and I've got, normal fire rate and Bane the Grenier and all that. So I've been enjoying it. It lets me shoot through multiple enemies. And yeah, I do highly recommend this thing. Let me know how you guys feel about this. I definitely think this is better than the Soma one, easily. But the Soma one's bugged, so, I mean, once they bug fix it, maybe it'll be better. There's no armor strip on this guy. 2 shots on armor strip, not too bad if you ask me. And yeah, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I'll see you next time with the next video. And I hope you guys enjoyed this, because this one, it's not as exciting. I'll admit it, it's not as exciting as some of the other ones I've seen, like the Lex Prime Incarnon, which I don't have. But it can definitely hang with the big dogs damage-wise. These are some big numbers. There's a slash proc right there when I'm trying to go for it. So, very powerful, very stylish too. It's a 6-shooter, very awesome. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Appreciate it. Peace!